that we've been lied to. Dr. Fauci lied to us. You don't need to wear a mask. I only told you that because we had a mask shortage. So when they tell you things because you're not smart enough to figure it out for yourself, and they pat you on the head like a 5-year-old child, and they tell you something different, you can understand why people go off the deep end. But really, I mean, in Missouri, I think we've done it very well. I mean, there's been no mask mandate, but the governor says wear a mask. But we're not going to throw you in jail if you don't, but just be smart and do it. Okay. We never totally shut down, but we were very prudent, and our numbers were really good in Missouri. Right now, they're really good, and we're just doing the right thing because I think most people are just doing the right thing. And from the very beginning, what were the 3 things they asked you to do? Social distance, wear a mask, wash your hands. If you do those 3 things, if you only do those 3 things, you don't need to do the other stuff. The other stuff's dopey. The other stuff is redundant. Okay?
Oh, yeah. Like wear 2 masks, right?
That's stupid. That's just stupid.
So you're admitting the first one didn't work, which is what I kind of felt like all along. You know, it's we're talking about microscopic particles, and you're telling me that basically a piece of notebook paper in front of your mouth with no rubber seal or anything is stopping it. I mean, I never believed it. I mean, I'm sorry, but I didn't. You know.
Well,
it was helping, but it wasn't perfect.
The masks. I mean, the masks do work. I mean, I've been around people who have had coronavirus, and they didn't know it, and then they got it, and I was fairly close to them. We both had masks on. I never got it. Okay. I think that are they the magic bullet? No, but they help. Washing hands helps. Staying 6 feet away helps. Like with the restaurants, they didn't need to say 25% capacity, 50% capacity. Keep the tables 6 feet apart. Done. And if you can keep the tables 6 feet apart and you have 53% capacity, then that's what it is. But just keep the tables 6 feet apart. It's kind of basic.
Yeah, I actually got, and because I kind of quit recording for a while, I haven't had the chance to talk about it. But I actually did get coronavirus. It was back right after New Year's.
So you got it, huh?
I did, and you know what? It seems to be different for everybody. Some people have no symptoms at all. What was it? A famous guy, Idris Elba, got it, and basically sneezed one time and it was over. I mean, he was fine. His wife got it and was in the ICU. So obviously, it's different for everybody. For me, it was almost like having any other cold. Joint pain, don't want to get out of bed. My head hurts a little bit. But I'm known for having the sinus issues every year anyway. So for me, it was like, it's part of my sinus issues, no big deal. And but I ended up getting it from a New Year's party. Now, what happened was there was probably 12, maybe 14 of us there. And I was the only one who had outward, obvious symptoms. And nobody, but I was also the only one that tested negative. Now, here's what gets me is, when I start feeling bad, I go in and I test negative like on a Tuesday, and everyone else, they all call me later in the week on, I think it was a Friday after New Year's. And they say, no, everybody has it. And you were here, so obviously you have it. Well, now wait a minute. Why did you guys get tested if you had no symptoms? Well, one of our kids had symptoms, even though they weren't even at the party. So, we got tested just to be safe. And, well, wouldn't you know, we all had. So every person there that night had it, and they all came from different places. I'm talking about, Moscow Mills, Missouri, St. Louis, Franklin County, just kind of a big party. And I was the only one who didn't test positive, but I was also the only one that had obvious symptoms. I ended up calling into work. I said, listen, I'm not being lazy. I'm not calling in. I'm going to tell you what I know, and you tell me if I should come in.
They told you to stay home.
Well, no, because they said your test was negative. Come on in. And I said, I don't think you're listening to what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that the doctor is saying, I don't have it. But what I'm saying is I was at a party with like 14 other people and they all have it. I'm telling you, this test was a false negative. And I started to feel like they're just going to test you until it comes out the way they want it to. And that sounds weird, like some kind of conspiracy, but I feel like they were just going to test me until it came out the right way. And so I did. So like 2 more tests. And sure enough, I had it. But I worked a couple more days before I tested positive. And it's like, the test isn't perfect. And that's not, I'm not making fun of scientists or doctors or any of that, but it's just not perfect.
No, it's not.
And so, but I made it through, and I made sure to stay away from people in high risk categories. My father-in-law is kind of an elderly guy. He's a tough guy. He's a strong guy, but also he's in that range, that age range. So I made sure to stay away from people that I thought were in danger. And and I got over it pretty quick. It was no fun. But well, then I thought, well, I'm good. I'm good forever. Like they say, if you get the flu, you never get the same flu twice. Every year it mutates, so it's a different flu.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now they're saying, well, no, after like what is it, 3 months, your antibodies are gone. So I guess I could get it again.
Yeah, yeah. They say that even if you've had it, you should still get the vaccine because the antibodies only last so long, and they're not sure if the antibodies you have the antibodies against the other strains, et cetera, et cetera. So I will say this: I'm going to cross my hands or cross everything, my fingers, my hands, everything, and hope that we're on the road to having this mess be done because I'm sick of it. I just am.
Yes.
I've had the vaccine, and as of this coming Monday, I will be fully vaccinated 2 weeks after my second stick, and I'm going to start living again. So
that's going to be great. Another thing that I didn't tell you, for my birthday, we went to Memphis. Now, I'm not a big traveler. I've never traveled much in my life, but my birthday was February 8th, and around that time, we went to Memphis. Never been there. Got to see some very cool places. Got to see Sun Studios. Someone like, me and you who appreciate sound and radio and things like that. I mean, what a great place to be in. But, a lot of things were closed. People are scared. It's a pandemic. Things are locked down. So we didn't get to experience the town, the way it should be experienced. And I hope one day to go back after things are open back up. We got to see B.B. King's, Graceland, Sun Studios. I mean, we had fun, but that town should have been booming. I mean, even in a cold time like February, it should have been booming with all kinds of music, and it was closed down, And and I'm like you, I want to get back to living regular life,
Yeah. Well, like I said, I've had the vaccine. I'm good. I'm ready to go. I've been very cautious the whole time, and no one in our family has had it. My wife, all my kids, all their spouses, all their kids, nobody got it. We were just cautious and probably lucky too.
Yes.
So. But hey, before we cut out, I did want to mention something, and you and I had this conversation off air. I'm going to mention it on air if you don't mind. And it was your last podcast, and it was I thought it was very good. I liked it. It was with Paul and with Bobby and was it their wives, their girlfriends?
Well, no, actually, Paul couldn't make it for that one, which was a shame because he's been my best friend since we were like 14 years old.
Okay.
And we just don't get to spend enough time together. I wish you would have been there that night. It was actually me and Diane, and then it was Bobby and his girlfriend. And I think at that time they'd only been together they'd known each other for a long time, but had been officially dating for probably a few months. I know I'm getting this wrong. He's going to correct me later, but they're kind of a newer couple at the time, but they'd known each other for a while. And so it was four of us. It was them and then us two. And Paul couldn't make it.
It was hilarious. I liked it. I know that many had too much to drink, but that's what kind of made it good to me. I liked it. But I would recommend that if you're looking for a good podcast, go to iTunes or anywhere else you get your podcasts and go to Rusty Dell's show. And it's the last one on there, December 6th. Masks, tipping, and a little dick talk. It was funny. It was a good podcast. It was just.
I remember. Of course, I get some of my style. And granted, it's only like 2%, but I get some of my style from you. So what I have here is a couple pieces of paper that are very old. And one has how I might start the show, like. Hey, thanks for tuning in to the Rusty Dell Show. We're coming to you like you usually say something like coming to you from East Central Missouri, and I say something like that. And so some of my stuff I got from you, and so there's usually an outro. So when you're leaving the show, I would say something like, send us an email at rustydellshow@outlook.com, the Twitter. And by the way, guys, I don't know anything about Twitter. I just have one. If you want to send something, send it. I'll try to see it. I'm not good at that. But anyway, so there was no outro. The thing got so off the rails that I literally said, okay, we're off the rails here. Bye, everybody. I just hit the off button.
And it worked fine.
Which I guess in itself is kind of it's almost like a joke in itself, the way we ended it, But we got a little out of control. We did. And, but it was fun.
That's what made it good. That's what made it good. I liked it. It was fun. It was funny. It was different. And that's what a podcast is all about to me. It's a conversation. If I have somebody on as a guest, sometimes they say, "Oh, I'll be real nervous." No, don't be nervous. And then we'll just start talking, okay? And then all of a sudden, I'll say, "Well, how was that?" Yeah, we're just talking. That's all a podcast is. It's a conversation. If you go down a rabbit hole, that's okay.
Right.
This podcast was to be 40 minutes. We're 55 minutes. That's okay. We'll go a little longer. We do whatever we want. Okay. The only rule I have in my podcast is you can't slander anybody. Don't say something about them that's not true. That's against the law. Anything else you say whatever you want. That's what it's all about. And I found the podcast very entertaining. So if you just want a little bit of fun, check it out. I make that recommendation to all James Strong listeners.
Agreed. And actually, and I'm, my hosting site is Spreaker, which, when I was starting off, I didn't know what to do. I got that from you as well.
Spreaker's great. I love Spreaker. I'm still on there. I don't have the top level. So there's like the free level and help me out with this one. Is there 3 or 4 different levels? Oh, I think there's, I think there's
3.
4.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'm
on the pro level, or no, wait, I'm either broadcaster or pro. I think you're one above me. I think.
Okay.
So I have the one where I can see statistics, but I don't think I get as many stats as you do, but I can see like geographically where people are listening.
Mm-hmm.
I can see how many downloads there are.
Yep.
It's very impressive. And I was following that day by day. I would always look at those numbers. And then again, shame on me. I fell off a little bit. So now I need to get back into it. But, when you pay for it, and honestly, for as much fun as you have, the money is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like a couple $100 a year. I did it when it was on sale, and it was a couple $100 for a year subscription to like the pro level or broadcaster level, one of the two.
There's the free level, there's on-air talent, there's broadcaster, and there's anchorman. I'm broadcaster.
Okay.
So it's the second highest. So there's 4 of them free, $6 a month, $18 a month, $45 a month.
I think I might be at the $18 a month,
Yeah.
and then I got it at like some sort of a discount. Yeah.
Yeah. If you pay, yeah. Okay.
And and actually the yearly payment is coming up here pretty soon in June. And I hate to admit this, but all the time I wasted not recording, if you think about it, that's just wasting money. You could have been having fun. And they don't care how many shows you put out. They just you're going to pay that money either way. And but I am going to renew it. And I'm not going to let it die off. I need to. And actually, I want the listeners to know this was kind of James. This was your idea. You got a hold of me. Now, talk about procrastination. This is embarrassing. You had messaged me in like January, and I didn't see it because I was in such a funk or a slump in my life that I wasn't even checking like the Facebook or the email or and so the other night, there's something about Facebook Messenger where it tells you have one chat or you have 2 chats.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I kept looking. I said, no one's online. I was talking to my mom online and no one's online. And it keeps saying one chat. I go, there's no one online, And so I fool around with it a little bit and I realized, oh, it's on my other account. Well, you had sent me a message back in January saying, hey, brother, you're due for another episode. Let's get this thing going. Well, 2 things happened right away. My first thought was, I can't believe that someone as cool as James Strong took time out of his day to notice that I was slacking off. But also, the second thing I thought to myself was, oh, my God. And now he thinks I'm ignoring him because now it's April and I never answered him, Now,
what I figured is exactly what happened, that you got busy
Yeah.
and then you had other stuff going on. I get that.
And so when I realized that, you could have knocked me over with a wet noodle. I was like, oh, my God, I didn't answer James Strong. Holy cow. I was totally embarrassed, So then right away I answer you and I'm like, oh, thanks for saying that. And hey, here's what's been going on. And, but, definitely an embarrassing moment for me. But I'll tell you this much. I know we're running a little bit long here, but I will tell you this much. I have a cousin. And when I was growing up, I never had an older brother. But when I was growing up, my cousin Andy was the closest thing I had to an older brother. He's 8 years older than me, and he was everything I wasn't. So when I was a kid, I played violin. I was kind of a bookworm. I was a nerd. He was the guy that got the the college scholarship for playing baseball. He was athletic.